All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the New England Patriots in today's video. I got a couple of takes here because they have the number 4 overall draft pick. The draft's not for about 2 more months. Free agency begins in about 2-ish weeks from the time of this recording, and I think this is going to give us a really good indication of what the New England Patriots are going to do in the draft. Now, most of my concerns, all of my concerns come offensively. Defensively, I think Mike Vrabel is going to do something extremely similar to what Dan Quinn did with the Washington Commanders last year, where you go out there, you get your guys, you get your familiar guys, you get your assistants, your defensive coordinators, familiar guys, and you just try and hit on a bunch of free agent signings because, yeah, honestly, on paper, obviously Christian Gonzalez, Barrymore, etc., the Patriots have some talent on defense. Also, their defensive line, there's some risks, not the best word. There's a lot of potential on that defensive line, but I think most of what you're going to see in free agency is going to be tailored around the offensive line and Mr. Drake Maye. And then you're just going to see some nice veteran acquisitions for the defense. Now, one thing I want to say, because we're going to talk about everything. We're going to talk about a couple of offensive linemen. We're going to talk about a couple of wide receivers. We're going to even talk a little bit about the draft in today's video. But I'm getting a little bit excited about this Patriots team. And, so is Drake Maye. Drake Maye says Mike Vrabel will bring toughness to the Patriots after Gerard Mayo's exit. He is ready for the Mike Vrabel era. He said he's been great on an episode of The Green Light with Chris Long. That's a podcast. And he said this quote, "I'm looking forward to get to know him. I think he'll bring some toughness and coach it hard. Even great players that we have and veteran guys want to be coached hard." Now, 4-13 is how the Patriots finished this past season. But Drake Maye, in his rookie season, flashed a lot when he wasn't running for his life. He was running for his life quite a bit, or was just get straight up sacked left and right. He completed 66.6% of his passes for 2,276 yards, 15 touchdowns, and only 10 interceptions. He also had 421 rushing yards, including 2 rushing touchdowns. He actually earned a Pro Bowl selection, but not to rag on Drake Maye, the whole Pro Bowl, thing is just, especially with quarterbacks, it's a little bit weird. It's a little bit funky. And so he gets paired up with Mike Vrabel. We know Mike Vrabel. He's a New England legend. He won 3 Super Bowl titles as a linebacker for this franchise. He also earned Coach of the Year honors with the Tennessee Titans and is now looking for a Washington Commander-esque bounce back with this young team. Now, the main question begins free agency. But before we get into that, folks, hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. We're posting like 2 Patriots videos a week. You guys seem to like them. I appreciate it greatly. Try and get this video to 25 likes. That would be awesome. So the Patriots are in a really intriguing situation, and I know this is getting annoying, but it's very similar to the Washington Commanders last year, where they bring in a brand new coach. They bring in a bunch of new coordinators. But there's one thing the Patriots have, along with cap space. Sorry, let me reword that. There's one thing the Patriots have that the Commanders didn't last year. They both had a bunch of draft picks. They both had a bunch of cap space. The Patriots already have their guy, and they have more cap space than any other team in the National Football League, holding about a $27 million edge over the second place cap space team in the Las Vegas Raiders. They have several options for approaching this upcoming offseason, but it's mainly going to be supporting Drake Maye. Showed a lot of promise in his rookie season, like we're saying. You got to upgrade the wide receiver room. You got to really upgrade the offensive line room because it ranked as the league's worst last season. Regardless of what approach they take, they're going to be big-time players in free agency. All right, so let's talk about a couple of prominent free agent big-time names that I'm reading that the Patriots could be interested. Obviously, Mr. T. Higgins is number 1. I'm not even going to mention T. Higgins outside of that because we don't really know what's going on in Cincinnati. It's also probably going to take like a second-round draft pick. I think they're going to franchise tag him, but they might be able to come to a contract extension. Who really knows what's going on with T. Higgins and Cincy? But obviously, if he becomes a free agent or if he's available for trade, regardless, honestly, the Patriots are at least going to be making some phone calls for him. Excuse me. I was reading an article by ESPN's Matt Bowen, and he went through 3 big-name free agents, and I liked a lot of these. Number 1 was DJ Reed, and this is just one of the best cornerbacks in the National Football League. He's probably the best cornerback hitting the open market, and I think Mike Vrabel would like to bring in a veteran corner to pair up with Christian Gonzalez, who, by the way, is an absolute stud. Reed's highly competitive. He knows what he's doing. He had 40 pass breakups compared with 6 interceptions in his entire NFL career. He's young, he's athletic, and he's just a big-time baller. Number 2, and this one, Patriots fans might not love it because it's a defensive lineman and there's some intrigue on your D line. But Milton Williams, he had their best team fit with the New England Patriots. He had 2 sacks and a forced fumble in the Super Bowl. He had 5 sacks and 18 pressures during the regular season. It's kind of just a disruptor, just kind of disrupts opposing offensive lines. And I think a guy like Mike Vrabel with his defensive mindset would love a guy like Milton Williams. And then finally, we have Alaric Jackson. This is the offensive tackle. And this really is just what I wanted to talk about because I keep seeing Will Campbell go number 4 overall to New England. I don't really love that draft pick. We're going to wait till the NFL Combine that's starting in a week. The big question with Will Campbell, he keeps going like number 4, 5, or 6 overall. I don't think he's overrated by any means, but his arms are very short. And I think with over $100 million in cap space, New England would be better off going out there and getting a more proven left tackle. And that's what Jackson fits the bill. 6'7", 345 pounds. He's got 35 career starts. And I think that could be the guy moving forward to protect Mr. Drake Maye. And then I wanted to throw in 2 wide receivers because, if they get T. Higgins or not, both these 2 guys could still be signed with all this. Your tight end cannot lead your team in reception yards. It just can't. And maybe if it's Brock Bowers, maybe if it's Travis Kelce, maybe if it's a Trey McBride, maybe number 2 in receiving, because Hunter Henry, the tight end, was number 1, was Demario Douglas. And Drake Maye just said the same thing. Jalen Polk and Javon Baker. If Baker can stay healthy, if Polk can just improve this summer, I still really like those 2 guys because you spent a lot of draft capital on both of those 2 draft acquisitions. But one of them was Amari Cooper, and then the second one was Keenan Allen. I'm a little bit moving towards Keenan Allen because obviously the Patriots could use a little bit more leadership on offense. And Keenan is 32 years old, but last year with the Chicago Bears, he finished with 70 catches for 744 yards and 7 touchdowns. He's a 6-time Pro Bowler. He's just an extremely reliable, consistent wide receiver, and I think it would give Drake Maye a great veteran security blanket. You pair him up with T. Higgins. You pair him up with McMillan at the number 4 overall pick, which, by the way, Terrell McMillan would be my 4th overall selection. But let's just say they do make a move for T. Higgins in free agency or with a trade. Let's say they do sign in Amari Cooper or Keenan Allen. Then I think Travis Hunter could be an intriguing pick at number 4 for this Patriots team. Folks, that's it for me. Hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. But most importantly, if you were the Patriots GM, let me know some big-time names and what draft pick you would do at pick number 4. We'll see you in a couple of days. That's it for me. Peace.